This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Today I talk to Dan the Man again and we talk about why highly intelligent people are single. The show begins with us talking about Singles Awareness Day, which if you don't know what that is, I recommend you listen to the previous podcast where we spoke about that. Okay, so have fun listening to us talking about stupid things and stupid stories as always. Dan the Man, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine. It was fantastic seeing you at Singles Awareness Day party the other day.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I've got some good news for us, Dan. To keep your chin up. What does it mean to keep your chin up?
Your spirits high.
Yes, because the chin is, let's say, the part of your body directly under your mouth. So keep your chin up. Because there is another study which says that intelligent people are much more often single. And not just intelligent people, Dan. Highly intelligent people.
Why do you think what was their reasons?
Well, that is what we're going to talk about, Dan. Great question. Okay. I must say at this point, I'm not 100% sure how credible this study is because I think they're trying to make something bad sound good in some of the points. One of the points is it says you are really good at making a mess of things.
What?
So it's giving you praise to say you're really good at basically making things go wrong.
Where is this study from?
I cannot remember, but I will include it in the show notes. It's one of my fantastic studies I find on the internet.
Well, to be fair, if you're going to be good at something, it may as well be making a mess of things.
Yeah, and I am a master at making a mess of things.
You really are.
Especially these podcasts, because for some reason it takes me about 5 hours to actually edit and modify it because I make a mess of them, much like I do with relationships. But there are also some other points, Dan, which one of them is it says that people stay together because they have the same level of intelligence. Okay, that is when a marriage will last long. And obviously, highly intelligent people have more difficulty finding someone of their intelligence. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm slightly worried that you're putting us in that bracket of highly intelligent people as an excuse.
I wouldn't want to put myself in the same bracket. And when I say the same bracket, I mean the same category as you, Dan, because I consider myself far more intelligent than you.
Oh, really?
Yes, I do. And it also says that intelligent people are more aware. And remember, we spoke about the word aware in the last episode. Are more aware about if the person they are with is the wrong person. What do you think about that? Is there any truth in that?
What, if you're more intelligent, you're more aware?
Yeah,
that you're with
you
the wrong
understand.
person?
Often people don't understand that the person they are with is not right for them. I will give you an example of this, Dan.
To be honest, I am the last person you should be asking about relationship stuff.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are experts, actually. So basically, if anyone's listening, don't listen to any of the advice we give because...
Don't break up from your husband or wives.
Yeah. Because Dan and I are both 32 and both single, so that means we obviously know absolutely nothing about relationships. But I'm going to give you an example of knowing you're with the wrong person, okay? So a girl I was going out with at university, I went to see her, and we were sitting there, all of her friends there, well, about 5 or 6. They were all females, and I was thinking, God, this is a bit boring. I would like some male company. And then after about an hour, one of their boyfriends turned up. And when I say turned up, I mean he arrived. So he turned up and I thought, oh, great, some male company. And immediately he started climbing a tree and the girls thought it was hilarious and couldn't stop laughing. And I will never forget, well, my ex-girlfriend looked at me and said, "Why don't you climb the tree?" And it was at that point I realised this girl is not the one for me.
I am not a man that likes to climb trees. I'd rather read a book.
I was sitting there in the sunshine. It was a nice day, drinking a beer. I said, why would I want to climb a tree?
How long did the relationship last?
Really not long, because that really was a very
how long
important moment.
How long had you been going out with her?
Well, great grammar there, Dan. How long had you been going out with her until that point? Bit of past perfect there. Not very long, couple of months. But then, as I said, after that, I realised I couldn't do it anymore. Another example I've got of, well, people staying with the wrong person. I once asked a friend, this was in Italy, he was living with his girlfriend. They had been going out about a year. And I said, how's it going with your girlfriend? And his immediate response was, yeah, it's okay because, we live together and I live in her house, so I don't pay any rent. Well, very romantic. You're saving on rent, okay? So that is very romantic.
Well, what if he had turned around and said, "We climb a lot of trees together," you would have immediately known what sort of man he was.
Yeah, exactly. I've maybe put him in touch with my ex-girlfriend about climbing trees. It also says that smart people generally just like to be alone. What do you think about, not just in relationships, just in general? What do you think about that?
I don't know if I'm not calling myself smart, but it's not that I like to be alone, but I don't like to always be with
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm now doing these podcasts and doing things like a website, because that gives me an excuse not to be with people, because otherwise, being with people isn't actually that great.
Good for your health.
Yeah, but the thing with people is I have difficulty putting up with things. And do you know what putting up with things means, Dan?
Of course I do.
What does it mean?
Dealing with things.
Tolerating things is what we're looking for, Dan. Yeah, so I have difficulty tolerating things. If I'm with a group of people and I see someone, for example, climbing a tree, I think,
But I think that's because you're getting older. I think if you were 17, you would have been straight up that tree.
Well, when the tree incident happened, I was, I think, 20. So I've always been a miserable old man deep inside me, okay? And that, I hope, will stay with me forever. It had some questions in the article about sort of relationships. It didn't have any answers to them, but I thought I would ask you some of them, okay? Because maybe this is the reason we are single.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of them was, do you think the man should pay for everything on the first date?
You see, I don't mind paying for everything on the first. In fact, I would normally pay for something on the first. I would normally would.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, at some point, that's got to stop.
It cannot continue forever.
It cannot continue.
I actually, for the first date, I always offer to pay, but I really think if she just doesn't even make an attempt to pay, that is negative points in my book.
I suppose, but it's not.
Hey, we are equal now, Dan. Men and women.
Half-assed attempt, even if it was like
half-hearted attempt, that's good.
I said half-assed, but yeah, whole half, same thing.
We'll stay with half-hearted, which means when you do something not to the maximum, let's say with 50% of effort, 50% of your heart. If she makes, as you said, if she makes a half-hearted attempt to pay, that's okay. But if she doesn't even, make an attempt, I just sort of think that's not a good sign. Men and women are equal now, Dan.
I agree, but I just normally insist. But then again, it's always been the same. Even with when I go out with friends, I'm always the first person to the bar buying around. You're always the last. That's the difference.
That is definitely not true. I don't go to bars anymore because I don't like to be around people.
Yeah, and people are sick of paying for your drinks.
One other question, which was extremely strange to have on this article, was, do you think it is okay for a man to hit a woman? I'm not
Where
sure.
did you find this?
I'm not sure when this article was written. It seems like something from like
1972.
Well, even before. I'm not sure who would say yes to that. Yeah, of course it's okay to hit a woman. What's the problem? Relax.
How
man.
hard?
Yeah. You could spank a woman though, which we actually used in the last podcast. But remember that's in a sexual way and normally quite a nice way. But yeah, I think we can agree it's not okay for a man to hit a woman. Do you agree with me, Dan?
I do agree with you. I've always said that.
Always said that. This funny story actually, which I just thought about. One of I had a student once when the first lesson I asked them to write a profile about themselves, and this guy wrote like, "Oh, my name's blah blah blah." He said, "I like football, tennis, and I don't like violence against women." Thanks for the information. Because I think everyone else in the class loves violence against women, but you really don't like it.
Yeah.
And I noticed how he only said violence against women, not violence in general. If you want to
scrap,
punch an old person, like a man, a 95-year-old man, that's fine. That's fine.
I once saw someone put on Facebook their things they like and don't like, and they liked like lovely weather, they liked travelling, and right at the bottom it said, "I hate injustice."
Yeah, because most people love injustice.
Yeah.
Most people love injustice. And the last one was, do you believe in love at first sight?
I don't know, really.
Did you fall in love with me the first time you saw me, Dan?
I did, Martin. Yeah, this is what these podcasts are building up to, isn't it?
Yeah, by the end of the podcast, I think we'll be a married couple.
Yeah.
Gay marriage is legal now, Dan.
Yeah, finally.
Something to think about in the future.
I don't know, do you?
Depends how good looking the girl is, I suppose.
Correct. I don't think anyone's fallen in love with me at first sight. I think I'm a 2 to 3 month kind of guy.
Yeah, I would say I'm more 6 to 8 months than someone might possibly fall in love with me.
Once you've worn them down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time, Dan. Hopefully one day someone will fall in love with us. Otherwise, we will have to fall in love with each other.
Which is an alarming way to end the show.
Very alarming. Alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Dan. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
So that was Dan and I talking about why highly intelligent people like Dan and I are single. So before I go, let's have a look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. Early on in the podcast, we said keep your chin up, which is a very nice phrase to memorize, which means just to stay in high spirits, to not be discouraged. Because as I mentioned, the chin is the part of your body directly under your mouth. So keep that up and stay in high spirits. To make a mess of things, which is obviously when things go badly. Another one was when I said I wouldn't want to put myself in the same bracket as you. And in this sentence, the word bracket just means a like category of people. A phrasal verb that was used was turn up when I was talking about the boy that climbed the tree, and I said he turned up, which means he arrived. It normally means you arrive without an appointment. A typical example would be this man turned up at my door. So I was not expecting him and he just turned up. Another phrasal verb was to put up with, when I said I have difficulty putting up with things, which means just to tolerate things. Another really good piece of vocabulary was half-hearted, which is obviously when you do something only to like 50% of your ability, and let's say 50% of your heart. Dan also used some rock and roll grammar there when he used the past perfect continuous when he said, how long had you been going out with her, like when this happened. In the show I said it was the past perfect, but I actually made a mistake. I'm actually not as intelligent as I think, because it's the past perfect continuous, because we are interested in the period. He was interested in the time, so that is why he said, how long had you been going out with her? So I hope you enjoyed that little piece of rock and roll grammar. Grammar is always fun. Before I go, let me just tell you one more time not to listen to anything Dan and I say or said in this episode, because we know absolutely nothing about relationships, or more or less anything. So thanks for listening. As always, remember to go to the website where you can do the quiz on all of these words and the grammar. And remember to tell your friends and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks very much, and we will see you soon.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.